All right, hey, close up, intimate, just before bedtime. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for checking me out. I had yet another very interesting and unique dream last night, following up on my dream, kind of the non-benevolent aliens from the other night who, in that dream, were shooting negative energy weapons at our planet. Uh, this time, I was on a spaceship, and it was a huge spaceship. It was a spaceship that was maybe the size of a city. It was enormous, and there were tons of people living on it. And it seemed like this was, it seemed like a human culture, but like an advanced human culture, like maybe 50 or 100 years from now. I'm just picking that out of the air. Or maybe they were humanoid, but not actually human. You know, like they resembled humans, but not fully human. And it's very hard to describe, but since this was life on a futuristic spaceship that was like a city, you were never outside because there was no outside. You were in space, so every space inside the ship was your environment, and that created a certain feeling of a strange feeling of knowing. I didn't not claustrophobic, but an awareness that the technology that surrounded me was really all there was to provide us with information about life outside of the ship. And so I was in an enormous hall. So I think it was kind of a circular room with other people. I definitely felt like an observer, and I was alone. And what I was seeing, what I saw was there was an enormous like movie theater size screen, actually bigger than a movie theater screen, which was relaying news and information about the ship, about maybe its mission and its purpose, and things that were going on in the culture of this advanced civilization. And I didn't understand most of what they were saying. It was like they were speaking so quickly and almost like in an advanced technological language. It was an evolved version of our own language with references I didn't understand, but kind of grasped. Like I had a feeling of what was being said, but I didn't fully really understand what was being said. And I was made aware that this culture, this seemingly advanced human-like technological culture, had come to embrace leadership from like a high council of a kind. And the high council were evolved humans who were almost like kind of like the Borg on Star Trek, in that they seemed both biological and technological at the same time. Now, if you've ever seen the Borg on Star Trek, they're literally like a combination of, a human form, human body with technology integrated into it. But this was different in that the technology itself seemed biological. For example, we were addressed on the view screen by someone from what I will call the High Council, and this person seemed to have, for lack of a better description, almost like tubes, like or that were more like tentacles coming off of their body. I'm not quite sure if they were coming out like part of their hand too, or if they were separate. But like they were. It was body parts that could plug into the technology. So it was like, like if you've seen the Borg, they have extensions from their body which plug into technology, and this was like that too, except the extensions were biological, and basically this high council person could plug themselves into various computers and communicate information to us that way, and maybe even have control over technology, or maybe that's even how the ship was run and how it was flown, that these advanced humans were able to like directly plug into their technology and run a ship and navigate a ship that way. That was unusual and strange, and as I was watching this being sort of manipulate the news feed, it was as if I could see kind of like a representation of those kind of tentacles coming from their body on the screen, and as they transmitted information, the tentacles changed different colors. Like they would be like from green to brown, like vines, and colors traveling through the vines, and we could see that on the screen as more news was being relayed. And there was like a news broadcast about an event in another place that I didn't understand. They were talking about maybe another planet in this that was related to this civilization, or maybe they were travelers between planets that were part of a galactic federation. I know it's ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. It was all ridiculous, but very realistic and detailed. And then I had the chance to see some of the rooms, large rooms on the spaceship, which were like kind of like an advanced version of the holodecks in Star Trek, where you can enter like a virtual reality, like a simulation. Because since you're living on a ship full time, you don't have the opportunity to ever be outside. There is no outside. Outside is deep space. I said that already. So they had a room that was set up to like simulate different sort of weather. Like if you wanted to experience a bright sunny day, you would go into this room and they would fiddle with the technology, and you would get kind of a version of a sunny day, and feel like the warmth of the sun, even though it was artificially generated just inside the room. And there were a bunch of people in this room. But the strange part was that there was essentially a terrorist attack on the ship. There was a revolutionary faction within this culture that was not down with the High Council, was not down with any of their ideas and their leadership, and they committed a terrorist act by overtaking the technology in this like holodeck virtual reality room, and in what was like an environmental room, they cranked up the sun rays so high and hot that a bunch of the people in the room instantly turned to ashes. They vaporized. And then I could hear like one of the, for lack of a better description, terrorists like yell out like down with the council, or down with the leadership, or something like that. It was clearly a revolutionary act meant to disrupt this culture on the ship. But even though I was in the room, not everybody was harmed. Some people were just burned when they amped up the ultraviolet rays in the room. But then, like I said, other people were just instantly vaporized. So I don't know if I was really there per se, or I was just like a omniscient observer, like a godlike observer. And then the news broadcast that I had watched previously that specifically featured this one High Council member, it had also announced that this person was coming to the ship. They were coming to visit the ship and check in on the ship. And I saw them arrive, and then I saw kind of like the tentacles on the body, and they looked like a human being, like an evolved human being. They didn't look like distinctly alien. I mean, a person may have even had glasses. They were older. It was like an old, not super old, but maybe a man in his 60s or 70s by our, estimation here. And he didn't seem nefarious or anything to me when I saw him arrive at the station, but I don't know what was supposed to be going on in this advanced civilization, whether who the good guys were. I mean, I guess based on the terrorist act of actually murdering people in the sunroom, it sounds like maybe the terrorist faction was extreme. But then again, there was something slightly uncomfortable about how passive everyone on the ship seemed. I didn't interact with a lot of other people, but it seemed like the way everyone was watching this news feed in the shared room with the enormous screen, like we were just kind of being told how things were and would be, and that everything was under control. But I guess maybe not so much. It just seemed, the part that I can't really communicate to you because I have the imagery in my head, is how truly foreign and alien it seemed. I mean, if it's true that there are alien civilizations out there, and as some of the psychics have mentioned, they do have ships that are apparently the size of whole cities, on this planet. If that really is so, there would be a different culture that would emerge from life on a ship where you are not connected to your home planet anymore. You're a space explorer, and whatever your mission is, and as a space explorer, it would be you might feel disconnected from the planet you originated from, and you might come to rely so heavily on the technology of the ship that there's a part of you that, even if you began as a human being, you would be less human over time in that environment. And that's part of what I was feeling. I was feeling this slight unease about how powerful and mysterious the technology was. And that's about as far as I can take it, because that's all the detail that was in the dream. But it was definitely interesting. And I have had dreams of being on kind of spaceships before, but usually the spaceships are very simple. They're more like the idea of a spaceship, as opposed to actually seeing any rooms in the spaceship or an interior. And they're small ships, more like little boats in space than this, which clearly it had scale. It had enormous scale. And I've not had a dream like that before, where there was an awareness that this was a whole, like I said, a whole civilization on a ship. And I don't know why I had that dream. It's funny that I had it coming off of that other dream where, unfriendly aliens were seemingly shooting negative energy weapons at planet Earth, and whatever that was all about. I don't know if it's related or if it's just coincidental. And I don't know if, well, I definitely don't know if I'm going to have more dreams like that, but it would be interesting if I did. And I hear lots of different psychics say that some people, I've never, to my knowledge, had an alien encounter, and I don't have a strong affinity for that. I'm not particularly interested in meeting an alien one-on-one if they are actually around. I'm more interested in the spiritual side of, existence and spiritual possibilities than I am about interacting with aliens. But if it's true that all life on Earth originates from other places, like that the Earth was actually seeded by other by alien races millions of years or thousands of years ago, then we do have a connection to other, more advanced civilizations, and they're out there. And I don't know if I'm just sort of intuiting it, or if, I suppose it could be my imagination, but given the fact that I dream about the nature of reality and deep space and the cosmos, and, I've seen the edges of the universe in dreams, it feels like there's something about my existence that is aware of what seems to be a larger picture, but there's no way to know. It's just day by day. So, yeah, it was fun. It was interesting, mysterious. So we'll see if there's more, and if there's more, I'll probably make a video. Okay, that's it for me. Excuse me. Have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.